you? If you value this position, you will make sure Lord Setter is not behind Huntress Hardwin. She finds him despicable, as do I. My only request is...
You look like one who enjoys a game of hexes. We mortals need something of our own here in Issa. Why can't it be gambling? If you don't know how, I can teach you. What do you want to know about me for? Is this some kind of Fey interrogation? Keep your curiosity to yourself, friend. What do you want to know about me for? What do you want to know about me for? Folks here have gold. That's enough for me. I don't care where I find myself, just so long as the people there are willing to pay. Not much to do here in the Fey City, but lighten your pockets and have a good time doing it. But I jest. You have a lucky look about you, stranger. You'll be back. Come on now, You had a look about you. Listen, all you need recall is these 6 cards here in my hand. Ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and the hex. First, you start with an ante. What'll it be? In my hand, there's an ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and a hex. 6 cards all mixed up. First round, you guess even or odd. If you're right on a hex or an ace, you take the pot and we're done. Right on any other, and it's on to the second hand. Hand number 2. I'll pull another card, guess if it's higher or lower than the first. Get it right, you win. Simple as that. Bold, I like it. Now, will the card I draw be even or odd? Yes. The card is a deuce. No, I knew I had you hooked. What's your... Bold, I like it. And the card's a 5. You got it. Now what's your bet? Now that's some real coin on the table. Now, make your guess. Second card, higher or lower than the first? Lower, you say? Well, it's a 3. That's lower, so good on you. I knew I had you hooked. What's your ante? Bold, I like it. And the draw is the hex. Take your winnings, you fortunate fool. Yes, let's. Right then. And bold, I like it. And it's an ace. I knew I had you hooked. Bold, And the cards? Up. I knew I had you hooked. Bold, And the draw? Yes, let's. Right then. Bold, And the cards? I knew I had you hooked. Bold. And it's a 4. You got it. Now that's some real coin on the table. And the second card's a 5. That's higher, so you win. Finished already? Hexes?
on and down. Hey there, pretty. This is Asker's Alley, best tavern in Issa. Only tavern in Issa, of course, but you didn't know that, did you? If you're new in the city, I can help. I know everything. About the Understyle, the Embassy, the Scholia Arcana, you name it. I know it all. We provide your basic public service. Ale. And if drinking isn't your thing, then you can always stop by the Hexes game and back. Sure, we've got a place to sleep on the floor over there, but it'll cost you. Fine, it's up to you. Oh, if I had the finery and manners, you wouldn't find me anywhere but the Embassy Hall. I'd even buy a title. But it's a dreadful place these days, what with the war. The Darkelfar and Varani are practically at arms over their differences, and everyone speaks in a whisper. I prefer the United Merchants delegation. Those are my people. Olana and her squire Brio, they have the good fortune to meet with all the nobles who visit the High King, a life of lords and... It's the Fey neighborhood on the other side of the city. There you'll find the Hall of Appointment. They don't mind if you go exploring in the Understyle, but I wouldn't suggest it unless you know your way around. Like I said, it's all magic to me. If the Fae said this city got its power from glowing purple antelopes, I'd probably believe them. I'm just a hostess. Oh, that's a sinister spot, isn't it? Even the Fae take a few extra steps to walk clear of there. Don't trust anyone in robes. The Askers took me in when my pa was killed in the war. That's been nearly 10 years. Now this is my home, pretty. It's where you'll find me every day and every night. Let me just say that I adore Olana. She's one of the few Fae that I've met face to face. So you want to brush up on your bad luck, do you? That game will do it for you, all right. Speak with Kali in the back. When Issa first opened, the Alfar approached the humans about creating a shared shop so people here could get their sundries. All of this was lost on the Fae, of course. Most of the United Merchants are good people, like Weistrin and Gwenna, but that blacksmith's apprentice, Britt Codgan, he's a leech. Is that the one at the far end of the Understyle? Yeah, I think... You see, the city gets its magic from the water. They call it the fountain. Or is it the wellspring? I never remember. I'm sure it's just a story anyway. Need some chatter? I've got plenty to go around, pretty. Bye now.
Nice to see you're not on the front lines, cousin.
No room here.
You won't stay. No one does.
Sorry, cousin. I'd buy you a mug if I wasn't dirt poor.
No room here.
Make yourself at home.
Welcome to the mortal tap. This dwelling gets quite raucous. You mortals have a strange tendency to befoul anything you touch.
If you're looking to drown your worries at the bottom of a bottle, this is the place for you. I'm Goethe and Asker, and this is my establishment. But if you're looking for the Victor's Brew, we don't sell that in Asker's Alley, and you'll have to take your business elsewhere. The ambassadors requested that facilities be created where flesh and blood folks could put their feet up. Not that the Fae know what that means. So the Almain approached my family about starting a tavern. The alley does well, but I'm no businessman. I know better than to criticize the Fae. They call us children of dust. We treat them like people, but they're like no people I've ever met. This city has been here for thousands of years. Longer than that, even. It will be here long after we're gone. There's a brewery near Rathia that makes it. Very small, very secretive. But they've found their niche, that's for certain. Cheap and powerful. It's not a drink for the man who appreciates craftsmanship, tradition. It just helps the soldiers forget all they've been through. Oh, yes, sorry. The United Merchants Delegation. It's a coalition of traders that have been granted permission to sell... I wouldn't say I ran from the war. I just don't need to know every little thing that's going on. There are other... It's the most popular drink in Amalur. At least it is now. My Asker's Ale used to be the preferred beverage, but every day brings more cancelled orders. My brother and I are working on a new drink, but it requires something... special. Wait a minute. Maybe you could help. If you do, I could see to it that the merchants in Issa treat you well. So here's what we're thinking. Bring back our grandmother's favorite, Asker's Draft, a classic. The recipe calls for bristletongue seeds, and if you're talking rare ingredients, bristletongue tops the list. It's worthless for potions, but tastes fabulous. The problem is that the Fae control the use of bristletongue, as it's a product of the Font's waters. Talk to Jackson, their apothecary. He can probably get it for us. He spends his time in the Lyceum Grove and the Understyle section of town. It's been in our family for 4 generations. Our grandmother entrusted us with the formula, and we made a fortune from it. But I'm afraid we... Almir the Bold was the first king of the Almain. He brought us out of lawlessness and misery. We've always wanted to name a drink after him. See you soon.
Do you think the Court of Summer even exists? All of this posturing makes me wonder if it's just a myth meant to comfort us. don't be too impressed by all the nobles and ambassadors.
If you fancy a game of hexes, Callie Keene will see to it. She's a good girl, fairer than most I've met.
Right?
Goods and conversation here. Need some chatter? I've got... Plenty to go around, pretty. Bye now.
Memory Walk is an unnatural place, cursed by the Fae's false gods.
Greetings.
Hello, I am Ambassador Calder of the Almain. We may be new to the region, but we are just as involved in matters of the Fae and the war. It is simply an honor to be here. We Almain are doing our part for the war effort, but there are plenty of other relationships to... Like most of my kin, I have humble roots. My parents were both trappers on the Snaketail River, feeding much of Whitestone Village back before it fell on hard time. Despite my position as lead ambassador to the Summer Court, I am an outsider. There is bad blood between some of the races. I do not wish to speak ill of other diplomats, but Ambassadors Keen and Brenner of the Alphard and Varani are plotting against each other, as if we need more deception. The Almain are new to diplomacy, but there are still several powerful titles available for purchase. One who takes this title is the guardian of all they see in this city. That is a great responsibility. I proclaim you the Chief Protector. If that is your wish, you are now stripped of your current station. Would you like a new one? The Almain are new to diplomacy. But like Almair the Bold, whomever carries this title must lead others along the righteous path. I proclaim you the Warden of Light. If that is your wish, the Almain are new to diplomacy. Every leader needs a worthy advisor, even High King Tartarion. Perhaps it will be you. I proclaim you the High King's Guide. Goodbye. Hello. It is simply not like most of my... Despite my position, I do not wish to The Almain are new to diplomacy. Every leader needs a... Carry on.
If you have any questions, speak with Griamar near the thicket.
I am Ambassador Brenner. If you wish to deal with the Varani, I am your contact. This is not a life I chose, here in this fetid swamp of a city. I was raised on the sea, an adventurer and warrior. I survived, and that... They don't deserve the breath I waste on them. There are powerful warriors in their ranks, but as a group they share no collectives. I do not enjoy this position, talking instead of fighting, speaking of the enemy instead of facing them.
Aren't you bold? This is the Varani wing of the embassy, and few venture here without being summoned. I'm Ambassador Advar, he who bloodies the waters. I have served my people for 40 years, in war and in peace. Now I serve here, in the gardens. I enjoy being this close to those I'm competing against. That's what this is, isn't it? A conflict. As always, the Varani will triumph. I have lived in less hospitable places. The Fae may not understand what it means to be mortal, but they certainly have an eye for beauty. The High King knows why we are here, yet he does nothing. Our people die at the hands of the Tuatha. Titarian and their summer court will know our anger, and they will aid us or perish. I don't have time for this. This had better be worthy of my time. Probably a good idea. Don't want to attract too much attention to yourself. The Varani allow the purchase of several titles for use in the gardens of Issa. They are rare and should be worn with great respect. A title worthy of one who's claimed many victories. Let us hope you are worthy. I proclaim you Blood Doge. Probably a good idea. The Varani allow the purchase of several... This title carries with it much history and much responsibility. Do not take it for granted. I proclaim you Guardian of Arms. Probably a good idea. The Varani... Ah, one of our most unusual titles. You will be watched with a close eye when you walk with this name. I proclaim you Death's Cryptic Hand. Varani only.
I apologize, but one of my station has many obligations to attend to. Please, excuse me.
No mishta. Welcome to the embassy, young one. I am Scholar Icob of the Domus Politica. What brings you to my chamber? I have no love for the other races here, if that's what you're asking. The Varani are coarse and brutal, while the Alpha are scheming and treacherous. The Allmain, well, they don't leave much of an impression, if I must be honest. I'll forgive them for their blandness. After all, they are so young. There's much to be gained from an alliance with the Summer Court. They've already grown and changed. We have a unique interest in the Fae, but I cannot explain further. I will say this. The scholars in Odessa have a keen interest in gaining High King Titarian's trust and cooperation. There's so much to learn from him. We find them endlessly fascinating, in their ambition, in their magic, and in their disregard for the natural order. We could learn much from such creatures. I've had a long career as an ambassador with the Domus Politica, and as a clerk in the Grand Bursars. But the real work will be done up. A flighty creature. During my audience with the king, he forgot my name not once, but twice. It was insulting. But did he notice? Never. Until we meet, we of the Domus Politica will... Very well. Sign of greatness is to be made. Of course. It's one simple service An excellent choice, and one befitting of your achievements. I proclaim you Tyrannus Vulganus. One of my duties as ambassador. Very well. Sign of great... Of course. It's one of my very favorites, and not to be worn lightly. I proclaim you Warlord Experiorati. Very well. Of course. It's perhaps the most imposing of all our titles, this one. But you are clearly the right one to own it. I proclaim you Morsus Cani Imperius.
How dumb is this shit? Only one person told me what these titles actually do. Why would they write it that way?
Very well. Sign of greatness. Of course. Perhaps the most imposing of all our... Goodbye. Bye. No mish titles for sale. Hello.